Hello, my name is Christoph Willems, and I'm gonna explain you today how to install or how to configure your GPS on your racequad. Now, this is my racequad. It's brand new. Don't look at the props; they were just for testing for a longer range. And I set up this module here. It's the bn-880 with the compass inside of it. You have another 220, I think it is, without the compass. This is a little bit heavier, and it has a compass inside of it. So I have a race board controller. I have the Kakute Holobro F7 1.5 on this installed. And once you connect all the wires good, TX to RX, RX to TX, and the plus and the min and the other two wires to the board, I'm not gonna talk about that. Just once that is connected, I'm gonna show you how to configure this in betaflight, because I looked a lot of movies, because many years I've been with drones, and I stopped for 2 years, and I'm now back in business for 2 weeks, and I look a lot of YouTube because it always change and change. And before I installed the GPS, there were a lot of movies with issues that it's not working, not coming back, it dropped out of the sky. So I combined all these movies, I made a setup, I just tested it, and it worked fine from the first time. It came back, I was so satisfied, it came back. I tested 3 times, I was more than 200 meters away, it came back, flawless. I was really excited that it worked. And I'm gonna explain you what configuration I did in betaflight that it's guaranteed gonna work. I don't think if you have another FC controller board that's gonna be an issue, that it's not working, because it's gonna be the same in betaflight for the configuration with this GPS module. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect. So I installed my GPS on your 3 port. So if you see here your 3 port, the first thing you have to do is set up your GPS. So you take here GPS, and for this model it has the highest baud rate, so you can take this one. Some people leave it on auto, but for this model take the highest. If you're done that, save and reboot. I'm gonna do it now. I already installed it, but just to show you what you have to do. So that's the first step you do. Once it is in order, check it again, GPS, it's okay. We go into the configuration tab, and if you go down, you see here GPS, it will be not enabled. You enable this. When you enable this, you can hear you have a protocols tree. Take U-blocks. It's U-blocks for this GPS. Most of the GPSs are U-blocks. Auto baud, I leave it off. Auto config is on, and I am in Europe, so I use Galilea. So if you enable this, it takes the European system. Set home point. I don't do this. Why? Because the first time you arm your copter, it will be setting a home point, and it will keeping that. So if you fly in another area and you go in return home, it's gonna fly to the first point you armed it. So don't put this on. Ground assistant, I leave it just on none. So this is the configuration of the GPS here. If you go here to enable expert mode, and we go into GPS, you see it is searching for GPS signals, but I'm inside, so it's not gonna locate one signal, but it's searching. So normally if you're outside, you're gonna see here how many satellites you have. Not gonna do that because I am inside. So the next thing you have to do is you go to modes, and you have to set up a switch. So what I did is here, where my mouse pointer is GPS rescue. I put it on a switch, and it's over here on that switch. So if I enable that switch, it's going into the yellow zone, and my GPS rescue is enabled. Don't forget to click on save, because else it's not working. Then a very important thing, the last thing what we have to do. Let me check where it was. In the failsafe menu. That is the much important. You have your failsafe menu. The first thing you do here is you see here GPS rescue. It's on hold. What is that? Well, I put there 1800. Why 1800? If you go back to mode, GPS rescue, it starts below 1800. So you have to be in the yellow zone. That's one thing you have to do. Put it, this number, that you are in the yellow zone, so it is set. If you put it on hold, sometimes it doesn't work. I saw on movies on YouTube. Put is this, it can be 2000, can be 1500, depends here what you did on your mode. Mine is 1800, it's in the yellow zone, so it's perfect. Next thing, you have your stage 1 failsafe switch action. It's here, stage 2 settings. It's normally on 4, I put it on 2, so I don't want too much delay that the GPS is kicking in, so I put it on 2. And then the failsafe throttle low delay, it's standard 100, I kept it on 100. The next thing you want to do, originally it's on drop, so if you lose your connection or something, it just drops to the ground, but you take, of course, here your GPS rescue. You can also take land. Don't take that, it doesn't land, it doesn't do nothing. It just because the quadcopter doesn't know where and how high it is with this configuration. You have to take GPS rescue because we have a GPS and that's what we're gonna use. Now you have a lot of settings here. The angle, that is the position, the angle, when the GPS is kicking in, it's taking that angle to coming back. So I take 35. The initial altitude is, I put it on 30 meters. You can put it on 50, because if you are on an area and there are a lot of trees, you have to make sure that it's going high enough to come back, and it's not going too low and flying in a tree, because then you are done. You have to think about this, because I saw in a lot of movies and I tested it today. It's 30, but mine was going to 40. Why is that? Well, there is a reason for that. If you're already 10 meters in the sky, he puts that 30 plus that 10. So that's why I was going to 40. I saw a lot of movies of it explaining the reason, and it's really that. So if you are putting 30 and you are already 20 high, it can be it go to 50 meters high. So I put 30, but you can easily put 40 or 50, depends how high you want it to go. Now the distance, the next thing is the distance that it's descending. I put it originally, oh my god, it's too early to talk in English. Original, it's on 200, I put it on 50. That is, when your quad is coming back, it's going to descend from 50 meters away from me. If you put 100 or 200, it's already descending. But are there trees or there's something or houses, you can fly against it. So I take 50, so it stays up in the air, close to me, and once it's back in range below 100, I probably take it over again because I'm seeing the quad. So I put this on 50. The ground speed, I put it on 20. It's meter per second. Some people put it on 30, even 40 or 50. Trust me, 20, it is already pretty fast to coming back. So you have time to locate where it is, and maybe have connection with your video again or your telemetry, whatever. But don't put it too high, because it's coming back really fast and you don't want it to smash it against your head, because if you do nothing, it keep flying home towards you, and it's not gonna land like a normal quad that has auto landing, or it's just gonna smash into the ground because it doesn't know where or what to stop. It's just flying to his home and it's descending till it hits the ground. So don't do that. I have my throttle minimum at 1100, 1600 for the maximum, and the throttle hover at 1280. For my quad, that's okay. I think it's around that it's gonna use that. It's just to fly home. So then I have my ascent rate meters per second, so it's going 3 meters a second going up in the sky when it's going up in altitude. I think that's enough because it was pretty fast going up. You don't want it that maybe your battery is too low and you are lower on the ground and suddenly he's kicking your battery to go 50 meters in the air or something and you have a low battery. You don't want that. Just I take 3, maybe 4, 5. Then I have for the descent, once it's having this 15 meters, normally you have kicked in again and take it over again. But if you don't, it's gonna descend 1.5 meters per second. Not too fast. Really why you don't want it to smash it to your head or on the ground. If something is wrong with your transmitter, I use this one, the Tango 2, really great thing. If something is wrong with it and you can't take over again, you don't want to smash it on the ground, so I take 150 meters that it's dropping down. And original, the minimum satellites is on 8. I put it on 6 because I don't want, if it's 7, that it's dropping down on the floor. I don't know what to do, what it's doing if you have not enough satellites. But so I put it on 6, so you have a minimum of 6 satellites that the GPS is kicking in. I put the switch allow arming without fix. This means you can arm your quad even if you have no 6 satellites. But be careful. If you don't have the 6th satellite and you arm it and you fly away 50 meters and then you have your satellites, then it's gonna put that as home point. So this is very important. Once you have your 6th satellite or 7, 8, what you put in here, and then your arm is going to take that point as my return to home. So arm your quad. If you don't want the GPS rescue, it's no problem. You want the GPS rescue to work properly, then wait for that 6 satellites. I mostly wait till I have 10 or more, so I'm sure that my home position is set. The next, I have maximum altitude. You can put fixed or current, so it stays at the current altitude. I put the maximum. That is why I have here the 30, that it's going up. So you have to take the maximum altitude. Now the next one is important. Normally it's on. You can put it off, but I take failsafe only. Now what is this? If you're not 200 meters away and you have this on, I saw movies that it dropped out of the sky and the GPS rescue is not working. You want it to work always, even if you are 100 meters away. You want that the failsafe is kicking in, even if you are below the 200 meters away. If I'm 100 meters away, the failsafe only will kick in. So if you put all these things, what I just said, and you have it all done, so the failsafe, your port, your mode, make sure the switch is working, and if it's working, you see I'm gonna put on my transmitter, and you see my GPS rescue is not enabled. If I enable up, I am here and my GPS is enabled. It is working. So that is the only thing. I make sure if your quad is flying and everything is working and you already fly your quad and yeah, everything works fine and your GPS is really connected in a good way, and every settings you put in like I just showed you. If your quad is armed and you have your GPS signal in your screen, that it is finding the satellites and you have enough satellites, then it is working. I am guaranteed 99% sure it is working. Just make sure if you're going to fly that in your screen when you're flying in the OSD, because if you're going to OSD, that's something I'll have to show you. I put in the home arrow. The home arrow is not correctly working. It's a little bit slide off, but I put out how much meter I am away. This is the important thing in the OSD. If you go into the OSD, put the GPS sets here, enable it. So you have here, you see how many GPS satellites you have. If you're going to fly and you see here it's finding satellites, then your GPS is working for sure, because else it stays at 0 and it keeps flashing. If you have put 6, like me, I put 6 satellites, it's starting to blink till it gets 6, then it's just not flashing anymore and it says, okay, I have enough satellites. Then you're gonna arm your quad. You fly more than 200 meters away to make sure that you are far enough to see what he is going to do. I was pretty conform with it that it's going to work. I just did it today 3 times and yeah, it worked fine. So I think if you do all these things, it's going to work. So I hope this movie was helpful for people who doesn't know how to install the GPS or to configure it in Betaflight. But try this. If it's not working, it's probably something else. But this is the configuration that I saw on YouTube and I combined them and it's working for me. So, okay. Have a nice day and keep up the flying.